So in our previous class, we were discussing something. We'll be continuing from there. Therefore, it is important to seek out a real representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and work under him. So we were discussing about spiritual master, that who real spiritual master, a real representative of Supreme Personality of God is. So if the spiritual master is satisfied, then we should know that the Supreme Lord, Krishna, is also satisfied. That is explained by the 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. Try to recite. यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत् प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादान् नगति कुतोऽपि ध्यायन्स्तुवंस्तस्य यशस्त्रिसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम्. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one is benedicted by the mercy of Krishna. So, spiritual master is the one who put us in the hands of Krishna, in the lap of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, no one can make any advancement. A real spiritual master who really want you to become a devotee of Krishna, who really want you to surrender unto the lotus feet of Krishna. So without his grace, without his blessings, one cannot make advancement in his spiritual life. You can notice this thing, that whatever Srila Prabhupada ji has told us, he want us to become devotee of Krishna. He really want us to devote to Krishna. Is it not? He is very much aware about this thing, that chanting holy names of Krishna is so pleasing to Krishna. And that's why the very first master of spiritual master is to chant 16 rounds. And something which is like, if it's the very first instruction, so what does that mean? It should be our very first priority. So in morning also, we should not put anything else in our first priority. Our very first priority should be to chant our rounds. Then after that, we can continue with our day, whatever activities one want to do. Therefore, I should always remember the spiritual master. And remembering spiritual master means remembering the instructions of spiritual master. And spiritual master will never instruct you something which is not related to Krishna. This is very, very important. At least 3 times a day, I should offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of spiritual master. Are you already doing this? 3 times a day? See, practically we are doing this. In morning program, we do this. Then in Darshana Arti, we do this. And then in evening Kirtan also we do this. Or when you are doing deity worship at your home, so we do that at that time also. So this is amazing, that at least this is minimum 3 times a day we should offer our respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of our spiritual master. Shri Guru Ashtakam, verse 8. The spiritual master is the representative of the Supreme Lord. Yes. How does he become the representative? If one says that such and such an object is a pair of spectacles, and if he teaches his disciple in that way, there is no mistake as to the identity of the object. So, for example, suppose, for an example, you are somewhere you are in a school or college. So now there, suppose you have been taught about this mic, that what is the structure of this mic, how does it work, and what are its function, how can it be used in for multi purposes. So all the functions that teacher is telling you as he heard from his teacher. So he is exactly telling you the same. He's not speculating that, oh, you can also, whatever, you can also do any other thing with this mic. I'm not, like in my mind, I'm not able to get any other point that what else we can do with this mic. Just example, this is copper bottle. So anyone who drinks water from this type of bottle, then that water helps you to detoxify your body nicely. But suppose if someone speculate and he says that you can also consume curd in this copper bottle, then will it be not foolishness? You should know this thing that if we put anything in copper glass or bowl, whatever, then it becomes poisonous. So if you put curd in this cap of uh, copper water cap, a copper bottle cap, if you will put curd in it, so it will become poisonous. One can die if he will consume that curd, which is stored in copper utensil, copper bowl, or whatever. We can consume water from copper bottle, but we can't consume any food stuff in copper utensils. So are you understanding this thing that that particular teacher, he might have heard from his teacher about the properties, about the functions, that how that copper bottle can be used. But if he will speculate that you can also put buttermilk in this copper bottle, you can also drink that, then that will be actually dangerous for any person who will practice this, who will consume buttermilk from that copper bottle. So same way, Prabhupada is telling here this example that if one says that such and such an object is a pair of spectacles, and if he teaches his disciple in that same way, in that way, there is no mistake as to the identity of the object. The spiritual master is he who has captured the words of a particular disciplic succession. In the case given, the key word is spectacles. Spectacles is chashma. That's all. The spiritual master does not have to say anything beyond that. So just we took example of copper bottle. Now he had heard about the properties, the functions of the uses of that copper bottle. So he will have to tell it as it is. That's it. There is no need of adding our own points in that. This is really amazing thing, because you will see, if suppose in school you might have participated in any debate competition. So there you have to put your own new points to defeat that particular person who is your competitor. You have to put new points, new topics, so that you may defeat your competitor, the other party. But here in Krishna consciousness, we don't have to put our new thing. You just have to repeat what you have heard in disciplic succession. Isn't this very easy? I find it very, very easy. You just have to hear and you have to repeat it. You don't have to put your mind in between. So I just really love this process that you just have to hear and you have to repeat it as it is. You don't have to spend your intelligence in that. Of course, for understanding things very nicely, we have to use our intelligence. Now, see, it's been told that it is very easy, but it is difficult also for many people. For many people, it is very much difficult for them to speak as it is. People always want to put new points. So there was a time when I was also doubting on this. I always used to doubt that I only speak that what I have heard. I'm not able to put my own new points. So I asked this from Prabhuji. So Prabhuji said, this is what you have to do. You don't have to put any new thing. You just have to speak what you have heard. And this is the amazingness of this process, Krishna consciousness. Repeating as it is means you are repeating the words of Krishna as it is. This is what it is mean disciplic succession. That you are repeating the words of Krishna. There is no any adulteration. And that's why you will see that this process is very powerful. Because whatever we are hearing in disciplic succession, that is the words of Krishna. If Krishna would have been there in front of you, then he might also be telling you the same thing which you are hearing in disciplic succession. So this is the qualification that you have to speak as it is. You don't have to put your own points or topics. Moving forward. Krishna says, I am the supreme. And the spiritual master says, Krishna is the supreme. So it's very important because you will find many Ponga Pandits roaming here and there. You will find them speaking that it's written, I am the supreme. Then that means spiritual master, I am your spiritual master and I am the supreme. You come and take my shelter. Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita that you devote to me, you pay obeisances to me. But that those Ponga Pandits, they just speculate like this that you come and take my shelter. You devote to me. Very beautiful point. His Grace Mukundat Prabhuji was telling this thing that one can either become a teacher or he can become a cheater. He was sharing his experience that he has been reading many variations of Bhagavad Gita. Many variations. And when he read Bhagavad Gita as it is of Srila Prabhupada then he got to know that means after reading the version of the Bhagavad Gita as it is of Srila Prabhupada he understood the real meaning of what Krishna is saying. And he was telling this thing that why I was not able to understand those other variations because people who has wrote those variations, they themselves were not understanding the essence of Bhagavad Gita. That one who reads it, he will become devotee of Krishna. But because those people who wrote those different variations, they were also not understanding this thing. So that's why anyone who will read those variations, they will also not understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita, that it is to become the devotee of Krishna. So these people know nothing. They just speculate anything. They just speak anything rubbish. So this is very important point that either one can become a teacher or one can become a cheater. If anyone is not speaking things as it is, after hearing in disciplic succession, then he will definitely cheat you because he is interpreting things, he's speculating things. So he will definitely cheat you. One more realization yesterday came in my mind when I was like after offering prasadam to Krishna, food to Krishna, this thought came in my mind, which was very amazing. The reason of our, like one of the reason of our anxiety is that we expect certain things from people. Is it not? We often expect things. Just like if even we are preaching this knowledge, auspicious knowledge of Krishna consciousness to someone, then also we expect that he should definitely accept the things which I'm telling him and he should definitely devote to Krishna. Is it not? We often expect this. This is one example, but you will see we often expect things from people, and then if they do not fulfill our expectations, then we end up stressing ourselves. So, what is the reason of expecting things from people? Because we in our minds understand that those people are perfect to fulfill my expectations. That's why we expect things from them. But this amazing realization came in my mind that anyone till he is there in this material world, until he has not become Paramhans, but yeah, until he is there in this material world, he cannot be all perfect because all perfect is Krishna. I'm talking about this material world. Expect the Paramhansas. Anyone you are seeing, like whatever people surrounds your surrounding with, you can't expect things from them because they are not perfect. Even the devotees, because we have not become devotees yet. We are on a journey. We have not become all perfect yet. So if we will keep this thing in our mind that all perfect is Krishna, then there will be no scope of expecting things with anyone. This is really amazing point. If you really want to expect something, then you expect from Krishna, and that is also related to devotional services. And not expect, you can only pray from Krishna, because everything which will happen in your life will be according to Krishna's plan, not anything beyond that. And Krishna already cares so much about his devotees. So this was amazing point that you don't have to expect anything from anyone, because anyone you see around you, he is not all perfect to fulfill your expectations. So this will help you to avoid unnecessary anxiety or stress. Just like if in your family, people are not expecting, if your family members are not accepting uh, Krishna, if they are not expecting Krishna bhakti, then don't expect them to follow that, because they are not all perfect to understand this knowledge yet. Basically, this will help us to get rid of unnecessary anxiety. If we will think like this, if we will stop expecting things from others, that those people are not all perfect to understand or fulfill our expectations. All perfect is Krishna. So Krishna says, I'm the supreme, and the spiritual master says, Krishna is the supreme. It is not that to be a representative of Krishna or to be a spiritual master, one has to have any extraordinary qualification. Yes, it's not that you have to have any extraordinary qualification to preach this knowledge of Krishna consciousness. You just have to he simply has to carry the message from the authority as it is without any personal interpretation. So even though if you does not find yourself to um, discuss scriptures like personally with any person, you can at least tell them some siddhanta that you should chant holy names of Krishna, you should offer your food to Krishna. This is what Prabhuji was telling day before yesterday, probably in the class, evening class. There was one devotee who asked that how to find people to preach about this knowledge. So Prabhuji told that if right now Krishna is not sending people to you so that you may preach them, so possibility is there you might not be qualified enough to um, discuss things with them. Means we might commit some mistakes in innocency. Prabhuji was telling about discussing the scriptures. Just like right now, I also don't find myself qualified to directly discuss Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. So I just love discussing small books of Prabhupada, which is definitely non-different from Bhagavad Gita. But then also, you will see now that Prabhupada has explained things in very simplified way as compared to Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So I don't find myself qualified in discussing Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam yet. But that qualification will come by time as we will keep practicing. Just like there is one devotee, Sumay Prabhuji, yes. You are already discussing Srila Prabhupada ji, 𝗃𝗏𝗴𝗿𝗺, Krishna book and other books. And Krishna might be sending some people to you. So this is really very nice that we start from small books and then we progress. We will progress gradually. And Krishna will bless us with that intelligence by time. If we really desire to preach, then Krishna will send people to us and Krishna will bless us with enough intelligence. Because it's not us who is preaching, it's Krishna who is using us as a medium to preach this knowledge. So yes, Prabhuji was telling this thing that instead of discussing scriptures directly, one can at least tell siddhantas. Simple things, basic things about Krishna consciousness to whomsoever you meet. We can at least tell difference between animals and human beings, and there are a lot of things, basic things, which are really not basic, because if one will start practicing these basic things, the outcome will be very much incredible. You see, now chanting holy names of Krishna is not that difficult. But if someone means externally, we can say this that chanting holy names of Krishna or chanting names is easy. We often talk also, so we just have to chant holy names. But one may think that it is very easy, but the benefit is incredible. Benefit is unlimited, out of our understanding, beyond our understanding. So we can at least tell basic things. So this is very amazing thing that there is no need, means one don't have to have any extraordinary qualification. He simply has to carry the message from the authority as it is without any personal interpretation. As soon as there is some personal interpretation, the message is lost and the instructions become offensive. Because if someone is making any changes in whatever he has heard or read, if he is making changes according to his understanding, then he is actually deleting the words of Krishna. He's not saying what Krishna has said. He's not he's not telling those instructions what Krishna has told, was what Krishna has instructed us to follow. Then he's actually deleting the instructions of Krishna, and which is not pleasing to Krishna. A person who interprets the scriptures according to his own whims should be immediately rejected. Rejected. Reject. Immediately reject. See, I can really relate with this thing. I will share one point, then we'll stop. That earlier, when I started discussing books, like very starting, when I started discussing books, so I also used to speculate things little. Like little bit, I used to speculate. Speculate means I used to read, and whatever, after reading, whatever I am understanding, I just used to tell that with confidence. But later, see, it's not like I was making any kind of uh, yojana. I'm not remembering what we say it in English, but yeah, I'm not making any kind of yojana to speculate things like that. I was doing it in innocency. I'm not glorifying myself. I'm telling practical thing that if anyone, if he is somewhere, he is speculating in innocency because he is not aware of this thing, that we don't have to put our own points. We don't have to interpret things. Then Krishna somehow uh, corrects us from any devotee or someone. So just like I remember one point, you might have heard para and apara shakti of Krishna. So I remember when I was discussing this topic of para and apara shakti of Krishna. Para shakti are all the living beings, is the para shakti of Krishna, and apara shakti is non-living beings. So what I speculated, that apara shakti of Krishna is all the living beings, and apara shakti is non-living beings, and para shakti is living beings. So I was asking with examples from devotees whether they are understanding or not. That what is this mic? Is this para shakti or apara shakti? So it is apara shakti. Any living beings, any living being, insect you are seeing around you, that is para shakti of Krishna. This bottle is apara shakti of Krishna. Now what? Who is Krishna? Is Krishna Parashakti or Aparashakti? So, what are your views about this? Is Krishna Parashakti or Aparashakti? Tell me in comments. Sorry. Yes, Krishna is Shaktiman. So these Shaktis are of Krishna. But I speculated it like this, that Krishna is Parashakti. So I was doing it in innocency. But later I heard this in class where Prabhuji was telling that Krishna is Shaktiman and these are the Shaktis of Krishna. But later I corrected it. Then from that point, I took this as a lesson that I will never interpret things by myself. So it was actually kind of lesson which Krishna gave me that you don't have to discuss things according to your understanding. So now I really hesitate that I should not speak something which is not coming in disciplic succession. I really hesitate to discuss those things which I about which I have no idea. So I like always make sure now that what is the meaning of this particular thing, what is the meaning of this particular thing. So I often kind of trouble Prabhuji all the time. That Prabhuji, please make me understand this, that, this, that. So this is really good that we should not interpret. We should always uh, repeat things which we have heard in disciplic succession. All right. Now we will stop here and we'll continue this discussion in our next class if Krishna's willing. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.